stability, so make sure you're sitting comfortably. If you have got a band, that will be helpful, but you don't have to have one, but that just can help with some of the movements we're doing. So first of all, we're going to start with a little bit of mobility through the feet. It's actually quite important for the way we move and for our stability that we have good movement and contact through the feet. So we're going to bring one foot up. Now if you find that difficult, it might be that you need to have someone help you, somebody who can do this bit for you. What we're going to do is we're going to hold the foot, we're going to take hold of the big toe, and we're just going to gently circle the big toe. So this is very gentle, we're not forcing anything. We're going to circle it round. That's good, one way and then the other. And just get a little bit of movement. And then maybe working into the foot. It's just a nice little foot massage really. Just sort of bending and making sure that all moves quite nicely. And then maybe just moving. Got lots of bones in the feet, so we've actually got more movement than you probably think we have. Only little movements. Just making sure that you can move into there. And as I say, the big toe movement is especially important. Okay, let's do the other foot then. So, just the big toe first of all. Nice circles. And as always, with any of these programs, if something is uncomfortable for you, please don't do it. Yeah, if there's a movement I'm suggesting you think, I don't want to do that, that's not going to work for me, then obviously don't do it, yeah? So think about what's right for you. And moving through that foot. That should feel quite pleasant. Now, as I said, the big toe is quite important in terms of stability. So when you are standing or doing any movement that needs you to be stable, which is moving around generally, isn't it? You need to be able to push down into your big toe. So all of the foot should push into the floor. And what tends to happen is a lot of people lift their toes when they're doing movements where they would become unbalanced. So we want to try and avoid that. And it's often hard to tell. Most of the time we're doing exercise with our shoes on. So it's really nice to do some exercise when you're at home with bare feet so you can actually see what your body is doing. So what we're going to try and do, we're going to try and strengthen your big toe a little bit. So this is where if you've got a band, it's really helpful. You could just lift your big toe or have someone lift your big toe and then push your big toe down into the floor. That works just as well. You don't have to have kit. So like I say, you might have somebody do that or put something squashy under your foot and push that big toe down into the floor. If you're doing it with the band, it's a bit more fiddly. Oops. So you can pull that toe up and then push your big toe against it. Now, so we're going to do a few of these. So pull up, push down. Don't make it super hard. You just want to see if you've got a bit of strength. Can you get that big toe? Oh, that one's trying to join in. Can you get that big toe to push down into the floor? Push it down. Push down. Now, like anything, if you find it really hard to do, it doesn't mean, if it's not painful, it's just difficult to do, that doesn't mean you stop doing it. That means you do it more. That means you try and if you think, well, I can't push down at all, then you make it easier, but you do it, you practice. You know, I love a bit of homework, yeah, so you practice. So don't just do the whole thing and think, it was all good, apart from that one thing I couldn't do, that's the thing to practice. So we do a few of these. That's that. Now this might be very, very different from one foot to the other. So it might be that you only have to practice on one foot. So this one, is a little bit harder for me to do than that one was. Now that means I probably don't have as much strength further up my leg. So this is quite a nice, like I say, nice way to see how it relates to your hip stability, your strength when you're standing. Okay. Now the next one I'm going to do is about the ankles. So we're going to try and get this kind of movement. Now ideally, it's not that. Can you see that's my thigh moving? Yeah, that's the top of my leg. It is moving my foot, but that means the movement's up here. If we keep this still, the movement, can you see, goes into my ankle? So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get from ankle and this movement here through the sides of the feet. Some people, if they can't do it, will just lift their toes. I want you to travel that up the foot. So have a go. Just, like I say, holding your knees. We're not using anything else at the minute. We're literally just seeing what you can do. It's not pass or fail, it's just to see what you can do. Lovely. And then if you have got a band, or for this you could use anything. It doesn't have to be a band. You could use a towel or a scarf or something. It's just easier than one of these, isn't it? So can you see? I'm helping it now. I'm helping that movement. If you prefer, you could sit right back in your chair and do this seated. So if you're thinking your back's aching, sit back in that chair. It's good to sit forward and to use your own support, but once your back starts aching, that's not what we're aiming for. Give yourself some support. So that's quite nice. So like I say, you can do it on the floor. On the floor is quite nice to test it. But then once you start bringing in the band and helping the movement, seated is just as good, maybe a bit easier. That's it. Okay, so we're going to leave the band for a minute. All we're going to do now is try and draw a circle. So again, we're looking at ankle movement. So again, you can sit right back up on your chair. Just see if you can draw a circle. So try not to just do this with your leg. Keep your leg still. We're still working the ankle, so you need to be quite precise with how you move. It feels a little bit tight in there this morning, so you work a bit more. So that's the bit that's tight, so I'm going to just work into that a little bit more. Nice breaths. Remember, don't hold your breath just because you're concentrating. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Just breathe. Let's do the other foot then. We're taking it round. Oh, you can feel that hopefully go up into the back of your leg, into your calf muscles. It's nice. Take it round the other way. And again, you might find a bit that you think, oh, that's a bit tight. You just work into that bit. Okay, so we're going to do some more strength. We're going to go back to strengthening our toe because it's so important. So we're just going to repeat that one. And then we're going to do some work for the muscles here that lift the foot. So again, you can do pushing down against somebody's finger maybe. So watch for the cheeks, watch for trying to move and use your leg. Yeah? Just pushing down. Just the big toe. Or pulling up, pushing down. And if you've got one side that's a little bit weaker, let's concentrate maybe a little bit more on that one so we get them a bit more equal. Okay? Now we're going to try try and use the band so that we can do this movement. So what I'm going to do is put a band around my foot. So you can see that in there. And then stand. So we might need to turn the chair around a bit, come onto the edge of the chair a bit maybe. And what I'm going to try and do here is lift that foot up. So you can experiment a little bit with how it feels best to you. Sometimes it's better taking that foot behind, but really I think you need to be quite close to this foot needs to be quite close to hold the band down. So you're pulling up. You should feel it down the front of your thigh. Keep your foot straight and lift the whole foot. Whole foot. So you can feel it here. Don't use anything else. Keep pushing down with this one. Okay. So we're going to put the band away now. We're going to do a little bit more mobility. So we're going to start. We're going to sit right back in the chair. I'm going to start by bringing one knee in. So it might just be that you're here. It might be that you can bring it up. If you can bring it up or wherever you can bring it to, I want you to try and hug it into you. So you might only be here, that's fine. So release and draw it. Again, somebody can help you with this. Somebody can help by pushing this leg in for you. So you're still going to get that movement through the hip joint, whether you do it yourself or someone helps you. Okay, and then let's try the other side. So pulling it in, release a little bit, pull it in again. So we're going to bring the leg in, and we're going to take it over the other leg. And we're just going to feel that stretch a little bit more maybe. Again, lots of nice slow deep breaths. So again, bring the knee in, bring it over if you can. Your over might only be to there, that's fine, yeah? You take it to wherever you take it. If you keep practicing, it might move a little bit further, might it? So, pull that in. Pull that in, feel the stretch. Or if it's down here, just hold it there. Just put some pressure on it, that's fine. Nice slow deep breaths. And put that leg back down. So we're going to move up now, we're going to move to the hips. So I'm just going to turn a little bit more so you hopefully can see this a bit better. You want to try and sort of tuck your bottom under. This can be quite a tricky movement to do. So you're going to pull up at the front and you're going to kind of squeeze your bum to tuck under. So that's what we're going to try and do, push into the chair. Now that's a fairly big movement, there's a big gap there. If you can't do that, it's actually, or if you're struggling a bit, better to sit against the chair. So there's no gap, but then you can feel your back push into the chair. So it's a smaller movement, but it's easier to tell what you're doing because now I can feel that pressure on my back. And again, we like breathing, don't we? Keep that breath coming in and out of the body, keep your shoulders relaxed and focus your mind on exactly what you're trying to do. So you're pulling up at the front, you're tucking that bottom under. Oh, chair's creaking, it's not me. Good. I'm going to show you this one through the front. So what we're doing here is we're trying to twist. So again, you can use the back of the chair to help you. So it's nice if you have got kind of quite an upright chair like this one. So what we're going to try and do is roll the rib cage. Yeah? We're going to try and not do it from the waist and the hips here. Can you see that? I want you to do it a bit higher up. And where this goes wrong is that if you say to somebody do it higher up, they usually try and cheat with their shoulders. So no cheating, yeah? We're going to try and keep your shoulders back. We're going to try and roll the rib cage on the back of the chair. So I can feel all of the back of my rib cage touching that chair. And now I'm going to put more pressure onto this side. So this is slightly coming off. It hasn't gone far, but the pressure is more on this side. So that's how I want you to think of it. Think about what you can feel. So even if you're thinking, well, I'm not moving much, think about what you can feel. If there's more pressure on this side, you have moved. If you put the pressure equal and then more pressure this side, you are moving. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Keep pushing your feet into the floor, push your bottom into the seat. All of these things will help you. And come back to the centre. And we're going to finish just by keeping the shoulders back, keeping your chin in, so not up here, please. Drop that chin. And try and take one ear up and one ear down. So it's kind of that movement. So not turning, yeah? Keep looking straight at me. You're going to take one ear down, one ear up. Try and keep your shoulders still. That muscle can be very tight. So let's just keep doing the same side really gently. Being kind at all times. And then we're going to swap it round. That ear down, that ear up. So you might find one side, this is a bit trickier for me, this side's a bit tighter. It doesn't actually like going that way very much. But these are the things you learn from moving. So if you're doing this, you're thinking, oh, that's tight, go that way, do a few more. If you want to make this a bigger stretch, take your arms down. So one ear up, one ear down. Stretch with the arms. Once you got used to it, you can do one each side. But practice the movement a few times on one side before you swap from side to side. And then when you've finished, you're going to do a big circle